Hi there, this is Bill again, and we're just going to finish off this section that we've been drawing down here. This is lesson 3. We've just shown you how to use a tool palette, and you can click these tool palettes. You can park them up the side of the drawing area there like that if you like. I'm not really a fan of doing that. I like to have it on a separate screen, but for the moment, for this tutorial, just have them so they spring out at you. Okay, so we're going to just drag and drop this section of wall here. Now we're just going to put it in the right place. That sits right there. Notice it's a 90mm wall. Sometimes they have thinner walls, but in this particular house, all the walls are 90mm. In New Zealand, that's what we do. So just have to copy that very quickly off to the other places that it appears at. Very easy to do, relatively quick. And hit enter. Oops, now I have, oh no, I've got that in the right place. That's great. That looks a bit peculiar, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, so we've got all our basic outside walls. We've got the inside walls all set up. Now all we have to do is worry about the roof trusses, and these have been designed by by the way, I'm actually using Autocad in here, but functionally it's the same as Autocad LT. You can have buttons. You can make up your own buttons that will freeze off things. In fact, I think there's on the LT that I've got at work, it's got some extra buttons that are quite useful, like freezing off layers and so on. What's this one up here do? Current layer, layer previous, layer states manager. But I just use QF, and you just pick things, and you can get rid of stuff real quick with QF. Just keep hitting enter. And that would probably do, because we can see all the bits and pieces we want to see. So now all we do is go back up to draw construction line, V for vertical, like we did before. And you don't need to pick both sides of it. Well, maybe it's easier. Yes. Pick, and just keep on picking. Maybe this is a slow way of doing it, but it might have been easier just to copy all those lines downwards. In fact, maybe I should do that. But you could do that. By the time I freeze off all the layers, I would have gone along here and see I've made a mistake there. Always get in close and let the snaps do their work. Otherwise, you can easily mis-snap to something. Here, I should really have paused the video for this. I'm nearly there, so hang in there. And these yellow lines are girder trusses. That's how they like to show those. Now, that's the funny thing there, because if we think about it, there's our section there. Is there actually any trusses going through there? There's a girder truss there. And there probably will be something going through there. I'm not sure about that extra line there. We'll see how we go. Anyway, so if I use the trim command, trimming off the bottom of those lines is a breeze, isn't it? I mean, that's done fine. But the trouble comes is how high up is that ridge line going to be? Well, if we go for a line from the section line, draw it out across there. He's obviously drawn it right on the ridge of that there. And we can take a measurement from here to here, and that's not there. I don't want to do that one. I want to put the floor. The floor level up to there. The floor level is always a very, very handy reference place to go from. It's always there, not in lots of views. So 4085. So if I offset 4085, that floor line, there it is. Okay, so that's the top of the ridge. So if I just go trim, just for the time being, I'll just hack off all those lines. And then, see these ones here, he's not shown those as such, because coming through here, you've got the girder. See, the girder doesn't go across there. See, so it's just one single piece going through there. That's why he's shown that like that. And so it's shown that bit there. That's probably a piece of 90. Let's check it out. There to there, 90. Yeah, a piece of 90 millimeter. So that's going up on the angle. So we need to get rid of those and that, and trim out that one there. Why would it let me trim that? TR. It's got me really going, that has. Because, there's the reason why. Why would it trim? Because it's a block. So if we X for explode, bing, it's all exploded now. And that all should have been on the section layer. And it is. Yeah, okay. So now if we go up here, trim that one, it'll trim quite nicely, it should do. So there we go. Now notice we've got a slight difference between there and there. You go back up to the example, well, it obviously, they go like that. So pull that back to there. And these bits that run along the top, see, you can't actually see anything running along the top there. There's nothing in the roof plan. So that's probably just a piece, supposedly a piece of blocking. Or is it just a piece of wood that runs along the top? That's probably 45. Let's have a look. Piece of 45 that runs along the top. So there you go. So if we'll set that by 45. It's still not right, because that should be down there somewhere. That's because we have a gap between there and there, because this line here that we measured on the outside of over here, it's not the actual inside, it's the outside. And for now, we'll just take that gap as being 43 mils. So we should be down by 43 millimeters more than what I've got here. So move that whole lot down. See, I've got ortho on, so just key in direct distance, 43, and that's where it should be. Just trim off that lot there. And if I can just trim those, I will. And those. So that's starting to look a little bit normal as that one there. Now he's shown these as, if I check out the line on that, it's still section line, but if I go have a look at the properties, he's changed the colour to yellow. Okay, we should probably do the same sort of thing. We can do this by Format Painter. You pick the line that you've got like the look of, swipe. So those two there are what they call girder trusses. So those lines, in theory, will come out a little bit darker. So just about colours, by the way. If we quickly just imagine if we were going to do a plot, which we're not, but we will check out the CTB file. This is the plot dialog box. That is called colour table. I don't know what the B stands for, but it's colour table. So we have a look at the colour table. These are very easy to make up. Make yourself a new one, whatever. So if we look at colour 1, it's telling us here properties are black. Now don't worry about all this other crap. All that other crap is just crap. Only things you have to look at is that one there, which is colour, and the line weight. So at the moment, red line's coming out pretty thin, but not too thin. Yellow lines, now see they are a little bit wider, 0.25 millimeter, a bit wider still. And colour 3, again, it's going to come out. That's obviously his normal drawing line. But look what happens with colour 4, that's cyan, and it's coming out at 0.5 millimeter. So that's extremely thick. Colour 5, normal colour, colour 6. Now that is pretty damn thin. That's as thin as you can go. You can any more and you're disappearing. So that when you see a magenta line, it's going to come out really, really thin. And colour 7, again 0.27, 0.25. These will all be. Now, once it gets to here, he doesn't. Yes, he does. That colour 9 is using the object line weight. Well, it seems hardly pointless to have something black and what line weight it would be. So I don't know why that is. But I did make this one up as a copy anyway. This one here, and so on and so forth, I've just kept as 0.25s. So that's how that printing out business works. So the yellow line's going to come out a bit thicker than a white line. And so on. And I can draw the rest of that and all these things like that, but you can see how that is coming about. So that what you do is you draw your section first, and then you can draw your elevations. But the other thing to know is that how does the roof come about? And there's the gutter. Outside of the gutter, there's the fascia part. If I take a line, I'll draw a construction line V for vertical, down through there and there and there. We go down and have a look at our section here. What we use in New Zealand are these little special brackets, and this is like a system, a manufactured system, a piece of folded metal. And that there should have been on there. That should have been on the outside of the roof. Why it is because why? So it's ever so slightly out. This distance here should be from there to there. Should be 600, which is correct. So it looks like that outside line there is not quite on the money as in terms of where it should be. But that's not a big problem. But when you're drawing these things, you can make life perfect by going to that line there. That should be the outside of the roof. So we'll see what we can do in the next lesson looking at roofs.